President, how close are you to a youth mobility deal? Madam President, can you still save Ukraine?
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome back to our summit on the future of energy security. I'm sure you all agree with me that we had a wonderful, very lively discussion this morning. 60 governments from all continents, 50 energy company leaders from oil, gas, renewables, nuclear industries, and several representatives of the NGOs and international organizations. I think we all agreed that we shouldn't take energy security for granted. In the recent years, we have seen again and again threats on energy security. It is the COVID time, energy security concerns after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the events in the Middle East, cyber attacks, impacts of extreme weather events on the energy installations. They remind us again and again how important energy security is. So we all recognize this. We also recognize that the countries, the 60 governments attending this summit today, have different approaches to energy security based on their national circumstances and policies. We are all aware of that, and we do understand and respect that approach. And as I mentioned this morning, and if I can summarize, we have 3 golden rules as IEA when it comes to energy security. First, diversification. Don't rely on one single country, trade route, supply chain, change the origin of the import of energy you can. Diversify as much as possible. Don't put the eggs in one basket. The second one is predictability. Energy sector requires huge investments for projects which takes years and years to finish. Therefore, predictability for the investors is very important. And if there are too many uncertainties, it will increase the cost of those investments, and that can in turn lead the investors fly away. This is the second one. And the third one, and the final one, our golden rule after diversification and predictability is cooperation. As I said, countries have different positions in terms of energy. Some countries have a lot of energy, some countries have less energy they have to import. But, dear colleagues, no country today in the world, whatever this country, is an energy island. Countries around the world are interconnected with each other. There are many interdependencies. It can be through energy trade. If you have an exporter, you have to export your energy to somebody. There are also ties through emissions causing climate change. There are also ties between the countries through technologies, technology innovation, and energy prices. So therefore, cooperation is very important, and it is the very reason the government of the United Kingdom and the International Energy Agency are hosting this event. These are all good, but for all these things, you need leadership, strong leadership. So today, we are, ladies and gentlemen, honored with the presence of President von der Leyen and Prime Minister Keir Starmer. President von der Leyen, I know from the first hand how determined she was when she was leading the energy security, perhaps the biggest energy security challenge of Europe after the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and cutting the Russian gas from European homes, industries, and schools. She was very determined, and thanks to her leadership, Europe went through this difficult time, maybe with some bruises, but lots kept on. And she is now having the same determination to make the European energy even cleaner and more competitive and affordable. Thank you very much, Madam President, for coming here. And we have also our host, Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Mr. Prime Minister, leaving energy for a moment aside, again and again you have shown your leadership at the global stage at different issues. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Prime Minister, very much appreciated. But also, in terms of energy, your great efforts we follow from the International Energy Agency headquarters to make United Kingdom, Britain, a clean superpower of energy. So thank you very much for that, but at the same time, keeping a good eye on the affordability and energy security, together with my friend Ed Miliband. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me to invite Mr. Prime Minister here. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Patrick.
That's very much
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fatih, thank you very much for those wise words and key principles. And good afternoon, everybody. It's really fantastic to see so many people here in London. Welcome to London. I'm so pleased we've got so many representatives from so many places. And in a sense, we're here for one simple reason, and that is because the world has changed. From defence and national security on the one hand, much discussed in recent months, to the economy and trade, old assumptions have fallen away. And we're living through an era of global instability, which is felt by working people as an age of local insecurity. Factory workers, builders, carers, nurses, teachers, working harder and harder for the pound in their pocket, but feeling at the same time that they have less control over their lives. And energy security is right at the heart of this. Every family and every business across the United Kingdom has paid the price for Russia weaponizing energy, and it has. But it's not just that. Because let's be frank, when it comes to energy, we are also paying the price for our overexposure over many years to the roller coaster of international fossil fuel markets, leaving the economy and therefore people's household budgets vulnerable to the whims of dictators like Putin, to price spikes and to volatility that is beyond our control. Since the 1970s, half of the UK's recessions have been caused by fossil fuel shocks. And that's true for many of the other nations that are represented here this afternoon. So what's different today? It's not the information that we have. It's not our awareness of the problem. No. What is different now is our determination in a more uncertain world to fix it. It's our determination that working people should not be exposed like this anymore. So to the British people, I say, this government will not sit back. We will step up. We will make energy a source, not of vulnerability, but of strength. We will protect our critical infrastructure, energy networks and supply chains, and do whatever it takes to protect the security of our people. Because this is the crucial point. Energy security is national security, and it is therefore a fundamental duty of government. And I'm very clear, we can't deliver that by defending the status quo or trying to turn the clock back to a world that no longer exists. Of course, I accept fossil fuels will be part of our energy mix for decades to come. But winning the fight for energy security depends on renewal. It depends on change. It depends on cooperation with others. And that's why we're all here today, so many countries, so many people and communities represented. The IEA was founded in 1974 in the midst of an energy crisis to help us work together to secure energy supplies and reduce future energy shocks. Well, that's taken on a new urgency today. So our task is clear: to act together to seize the opportunity of the clean energy transition, because homegrown clean energy is the only way to take back control of our energy system, deliver energy security, and bring down bills for the long term. And I want to tell you, that's in the DNA of my government. When we came into office last year, we knew there was no time to waste. So in our first 100 days, we launched Great British Energy as a national champion to drive investment and transform clean power. We scrapped the ban on onshore wind and became the first G7 economy to phase out coal power. And whilst we won't be turning off the taps, we are going all out through our plan for change to make Britain a clean energy superpower, to secure homegrown energy and set a path to achieving clean power by 2030. Now, I know that some in the UK don't agree with that. They think that energy security can wait. They think tackling climate change can wait. But do they also think that bill payers can wait too? Do they think that economic growth can wait? Do they think that we can win the race for green jobs and investment by going slow? That would serve no one. Instead, this government is acting now with a muscular industrial policy to seize these opportunities, to boost investment, build new industries, drive UK competitiveness, and unlock export opportunities in wind, in nuclear, in hydrogen, carbon capture, heat pumps, and so much more. That is the change that we need, and we won't wait, we'll accelerate. Because we're already seeing the benefits. The UK's net zero sectors are growing 3 times faster than the economy as a whole. They've attracted £43 billion of private investment since last July. And now they support around 600,000 jobs across the United Kingdom. That means more opportunities, more money in people's pockets. And we're going further. We've stripped out unnecessary red tape to put Britain back in the global race for nuclear energy and allow for small modular reactors for the first time. We're speeding up planning for clean energy projects, including onshore wind, to power millions of homes and unlock further investment of £40 billion a year. And it's really clear to me that investors want policy certainty. They want ambition. And that's what we're providing. And now we're raising our ambition even further. I'm really pleased to announce today that we're creating a new supply chain investment fund as part of Great British Energy. It will be backed by an initial £300 million of new funding for domestic offshore wind, leveraging billions of new private investment, supporting tens of thousands of jobs and driving economic growth. When companies are looking to invest in clean energy, when partners are looking to build new turbines, blades, cables, our message is simple: build it in Britain. I'm determined to seize this opportunity to win our share of this $1 trillion market and secure the next generation of great jobs. I've met the apprentices at the docks in Grimsby, fantastic individuals. I've been to Holyhead in Wales and to the National Nuclear Laboratory in Preston. I've seen the brilliant clean power infrastructure that we are building in this country. But more than that, I've seen the pride that these jobs bring. This is skilled, well-paid work, meaningful work, a chance to reignite our industrial heartlands, to rekindle that sense of community, of pride and purpose that comes from being part of something that is bigger than yourself. So I'm pleased to tell you that I can share some more good news this afternoon. Earlier today, we finalised a deal with Eni. It will see them award £2 billion in supply chain contracts for the HyNet carbon capture and storage project, creating 2,000 jobs across North Wales and the North West. I want to thank all those here today who are part of this success story, because it's all built on stability, yes, but our ruthless focus on delivery. But it's also built on partnership. And so, let me say, it is a real pleasure today to welcome my friend, President von der Leyen. Ursula, it is so good to have you with us this afternoon. Last time we were in this building, Ursula and I stood together with other colleagues here at Lancaster House. This was just last month, about six weeks ago, standing shoulder to shoulder with President Zelensky, working together for European security. Today, we stand again together with Fatih and others and the IEA, united behind European energy security. Europe must never again be in a position where Russia thinks that they can blackmail us on energy. And until Russia comes to the table and agrees a full and unconditional ceasefire, we must continue to crack down on their energy revenues, which are still fueling Putin's war chest. This is the moment to act, and it's the moment to build a partnership with the EU that meets the needs of our time, facing up to the global shocks of recent years, and working together to minimise the impact on hard-working people. So we're doing more with the EU to improve our interconnections and make the most of our shared energy systems, as well as building on the fantastic partnerships that we already have with countries like the Netherlands, with Germany, with Norway, and so many others. We have a common and important resource in the North Sea, which can help us meet common challenges. Now, to me, this is just common sense. So let's seize this potential to drive down bills, drive up investment and growth and energy security. I was elected with a mandate to deliver change. So I make no apologies for pursuing every avenue to deliver in the national interest and secure Britain's future. That is always my priority. And of course, this has to be a global effort as well. We need to see a wider coalition that unites the North and South in a global drive for clean power. And that's why I launched the Global Clean Power Alliance at the G20 last year, working alongside the EU's Global Energy Transitions Forum. And that's why we're joining forces to take this forward. We want to tackle the barriers and bottlenecks that are holding countries back. So I'm pleased to announce today that under the Global Clean Power Alliance, we're establishing a first-of-its-kind global initiative to unblock and diversify clean energy supply chains. We're harnessing the political leadership needed to make this happen. Because ultimately, that is what this is about: leadership. In this moment of instability and uncertainty, when we're buffeted by global forces, we are taking control. We are working together with partners from around the world. with the IEA and all of you here today to accelerate this vital global transition. And in the UK, we're stepping up now to make energy a source, not of vulnerability and worry, which it is at the moment and has been for so long, but a source of strength, of security and pride, with British energy, powering British homes, creating British jobs, a collective effort to boost our collective security for generations to come. Thank you very much. And now it is my very great pleasure and privilege to introduce President von der Leyen, my friend Ursula. Thank you so much for being here. Ursula, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Prime Minister, my dear friend Keir, Dr. Birol, dear Fatih, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be back in London. Thank you, Prime Minister, for co-hosting this vital summit. Thank you for the UK's continued leadership on energy security and more generally for the excellent cooperation between the European Union and the UK. Energy is vital to this cooperation. Our work is centered around the North Sea. This is a powerhouse indeed for clean energy and the energy of the future. So the North Sea region has it all. As you said, offshore wind, marine energy, hydrogen, carbon capture and storage. But what is important is that there is not only the resources out there, but the regulatory certainty. And if you don't believe in this, just think of the electricity trading. Their uncertainty has been especially bad for business. So, certainty is something which we can deliver. The EU framework offers. It is what investors are looking for. And therefore, dear Keir, I think this is something where the two of us should team up and deliver on what is needed for the investors. The investors, for many years, are ready to start. They just need the regulatory certainty, they need the predictability, and they need one framework to work with. So let's deliver on that one. And thank you very much, dear Fatih Birol, for the excellent work you're doing. You keep energy security at the forefront of global attention. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing a new paradigm for energy security. In Europe, we witnessed firsthand how Russia intentionally weaponized energy supplies. In the Middle East, conflict has stoked instability and threatened global shipping. And across the Atlantic, the threat of tariffs risk further disruption of crucial supply chains. And that's why today's meeting is so timely. Because reliable and affordable energy is the lifeblood of our economies. It underpins our national security. And it sustains our industrial and economic competitiveness. The positive news is that we see progress on energy security worldwide. Over the last decade, 1 billion people have gained reliable access to electricity. If we deliver on the collective goals we set at COP28, this will help in addition. If we triple renewable energy and double energy efficiency, we will bring reliable and affordable energy to millions more around the world. Because clean, homegrown renewables not only strengthen our resilience, they also spur, of course, new jobs, more innovation within our own economies. As our energy dependency goes down, the energy dependency on fossil fuels, our energy security goes up. That is the lesson we have learned in Europe. At the start of this decade, as you all know, we were over-reliant on one single supplier for our energy needs. Let me give you some figures. Russia provided 45% of our gas, 50% of our coal, and nearly 1/3 of our oil. For decades, I must say, we failed to recognize the costs that came with this dependence, the risk of blackmail, economic coercion, price shocks. That reality was exposed after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia tried to exploit our overdependence on cutting us off the gas. They tried to cause economic turmoil and weaken our resolve for Ukraine. They failed. We answered with Repower EU. We diversified our supply. We accelerated the clean energy transition. We went from 45% of our gas imports coming from Russia down to 18%. We went from 1 in 5 barrels of oil down to 1 in 50, a 10-fold reduction. And we went to 0 coal from Russia. In sum, we cut funding for Russia's war economy and strengthened our energy security. But we all know that there's so much more to do. In 2 weeks, our Energy Commissioner, Dan Jorgensen, will present a roadmap with concrete measures to phase out all imports of Russian fossil fuels so that we will no longer rely on a hostile power for our energy supply. On gas supply, actually, we have not forgotten how the United States immediately stepped in with LNG when we needed it during the energy crisis, and how we received additional gas, pipeline gas from Norway, and how countries further away like Japan and the Republic of Korea worked very closely with us on global markets to ensure our immediate energy security. These energy partnerships, including imports of LNG from the United States, remain of strategic importance for the European Union. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is not only a question of alternative suppliers. We reduced our vulnerability to Russian fossil fuels by accelerating the rollout of homegrown renewable energy. And in the medium term, this is the best means to ensure energy security. The progress is already visible. Renewables now account for 47% of our electricity mix. Solar and wind are our 2 fastest growing energy sources. Last year alone, we installed 78 gigawatts of new renewable capacity. That is enough to power London 16 times over. And we must go further. Earlier this year, we presented an affordable energy action plan. We will boost our energy and electrification projects. It will help us to complete interconnections and grids so that wind from the North Sea and solar from Spain can power homes and industries across our continent. We are also working to ensure that the clean industries of the future are built in Europe. With the Clean Industrial Deal, we will mobilize over 100 billion euros to support clean manufacturing. This means new high-skilled jobs in Europe, lower energy costs, reduced demands for fossil fuels, and greater autonomy over our energy suppliers. This progress is crucial because globally we see threats to energy security intensifying. We see hostile actors target critical infrastructure with physical and cyber attacks. We see Houthi militants use missiles to strike international shipping, including oil tankers. We also see increased pressure on grids and infrastructure as global demand for energy surges. Just a figure, in 2024, energy demand grew by almost twice its recent average. And this is driven by increased consumption of electricity and the growing energy needs in areas such as electric mobility, air conditioning, and of course, ever more powerful artificial intelligence. All the data centers are just energy eater par excellence. On the other hand, and that is bitter, progress to connect the world's poorest to electricity has slowed. And this threatens to leave tens of millions of people, particularly in Africa, living in energy insecurity. So, ladies and gentlemen, these global challenges require a collective response. We need greater collaboration across the entire energy value chain. And I see 5 steps where we need to step up cooperation to deliver energy security. First, we need to set a clear vision of the direction of travel and a determination to follow it. Earlier this year, alongside many of you here, we launched the Global Energy Transition Forum. You mentioned it here. The forum can help us to deliver on the promises we made at COP28 in Dubai, our promise to triple renewable energy capacity and to double energy efficiency by 2030. So to achieve this, we need to keep track of progress, because you all know the old saying, only what gets measured gets done. So as we discussed here, the forum will work hand in hand with the Global Clean Power Alliance, which you launched this year, because we share the same goals, we aim for the same results, so that by working together, again, the two of us can deliver. Second point, we need to turn targets into very concrete projects, not only at home, but also abroad. Europe is doing this through the Global Gateway Initiative and our Scaling Up Renewables in Africa campaign. That is, European funds are helping to build infrastructure to ensure that clean energy is available where it is needed the most. For example, with the Zambia-Tanzania Energy Interconnector, this will connect the power grids of southern and eastern Africa. It will bring energy security to millions across Africa. Third point, we need critical raw materials. You all know it here in this room. And this is all the more important in the context of looming trade restrictions and export bans. We see it already. These minerals are the building blocks of the clean transition. And work is already underway, and I would like to commend here again the International Energy Agency for its leading role in this crucial topic. The European Union has signed 10 strategic raw materials agreements with partner countries. And we launched the first ever clean trade and investment partnership with South Africa. This will see Europe invest 4.4 billion euros in clean energy projects in South Africa. And at the same time, it will ensure that European firms have access to the materials they need to power the green transition. My fourth point, we need to develop infrastructure together. This sounds so simple, basic, but it is essential. We need to build grids, interconnectors, and cables. We need to connect our countries and diversify our energy supplies. And that is what we are, for example, doing with the ELMET connection between Italy and Tunisia. It will be the very first direct current connection between Europe and Africa. We are also helping to develop a connection between Greece and Egypt. So these projects will help enhance energy security across both our continents. And finally, we need, of course, to work together to protect infrastructure, both from cyber attacks and physical attacks. And here we should use the cooperation we have with NATO. We have taken, together with NATO, measures to better prepare and protect ourselves. We are developing capabilities to protect critical undersea cables. That's the new normal. And as we know that these cables cross countries and continents, we are absolutely open and ready to share our experiences and to cooperate on this with our strategic partners and friends. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot is to do. We have gone quite a mile already, but we are at a decisive moment. And the speeches I could listen to today prove how crucial it is now to be here. Thank you again, Fatih, for convening this summit here. It is crucial because Europe is ready to work with all of you. We are in close cooperation anyway, but it's a broader offer here. As the saying goes, you know it all, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we want to go far. Thank you very much for your attention.